disclosures of interest.
Yes.
Counselor.
Item number 6.3. Grant application for the museum.
All right. Thank you. Any other disclosures of interest?
I think there was another one. Fort George Community Center.
Lighthouse? The lighthouse?
No, I'm good.
Okay, thank you. And we have the minutes of our last meeting. All right. And we will move to page 13, please. I don't have the names of who did these at committee of the whole, so we'll work our way through them. Recommendation 5.1, Councillor Sheridan, please.
I move that municipal council direct staff to utilize $3,088,608 from the operating reserve to repay the RBC line of credit in accordance with the recommendation of committee of the whole.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Gunn. Discussion. All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. 5.2, Heritage Advisory Committee.
I move that municipal council repeal AM 1.3.6.3 Heritage Advisory Committee policy pursuant to a 7-day notice given on July 9th.
Thank you. Seconded by Deputy Warden. Discussion. All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Carried. 5.3, Police Advisory Board. Councillor LeBlanc.
I move that municipal council approve policy 123, Policy Advisory Board, in accordance with 7-day notice given on July 9th.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Prout. Discussion. All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. 5.4, Fire and Emergency Services Registration.
I move that municipal council approve policy 118, fire and emergency services registration pursuant to the 7-day notice given on July 9th.
Thank you. Seconded by
Right.
Councillor Hudson. Discussion. Councillor Connell.
I saw an email come in from one of the fire chiefs, and I was just wondering if he was, had been given some answers on some of those questions, or was that something that we were going to do?
We just received that this morning, so we will reply in time, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Further discussion. Councillor Enslow.
I don't know if this is from the same person or not, but I believe we all received an email. The same person? Is it?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Good.
Further discussion. All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. 5.5, Accessibility Advisory Committee.
I'll read it.
Councillor Gunn.
I move that municipal council amend policy 124, Accessibility Advisory Committee as circulated in accordance with 7-day notice given on July 9th.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Sheridan. Discussion. All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. 5.6, Climate Change Action Plan Review. How about you, Councillor Bertram?
I move that municipal council amend policy 125, Climate Change Action Plan Review Committee pursuant to 7-day notice given on July 9th.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Enslow. Discussion. All in favor?
Yes.
Thank you. 5.7, Road Naming Process, Shared Access Road in Meadowvale.
Right there.
Councillor LeBlanc.
I move that municipal council initiate the road naming review process to name a new shared access road in Meadowvale in accordance with the recommendation of committee of the whole.
Thank you. Seconded by Councilor Sheridan, discussion, please. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Carried. Turn the page. 5.8, Community Facilities Annapolis Valley Trails Coalition. Councilor Enslow.
I move that municipal council approve a grant to Annapolis Valley Trails Coalition in the amount of $10,000 to assist with trail maintenance and repair in Annapolis County in accordance with Policy 101, community grants pursuant to the recommendation of the Committee of the Whole.
Thank you. Seconded by Councilor Bartow. Discussion. All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. 5.9, Community Facilities, Fort George District Lighthouse Society. Councilor Connell, please.
I move that municipal council approve a grant to the Fort George District Lighthouse Society in the amount of $15,333 to help with the cost of replacing the siding on the lighthouse in accordance with Policy 101 Community Grants in accordance with the recommendation of Committee of the Whole.
Thank you. Seconded by Councilor Prout. Discussion. All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. 5.10, Community Facilities, Royal Canadian Legion Branch 33, Bridgetown. Councilor Enslow, please.
I move that municipal council approve a grant to the Royal Canadian Legion Branch 33 Bridgetown in the amount of $10,268.42 to help support accessibility, ramps, upgrades, and installation in accordance with Policy 101, community grants pursuant to the recommendation of Committee of the Whole.
Seconded by Councilor Hudson. Discussion. All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. 5.11, Community Facilities, Bridgetown Lawn Bowling and Quoits Club. Councilor Hudson, please.
Yes, I move that municipal council approve a grant to the Bridgetown Lawn Bowling and Quoits Club in the amount of $3,467.40 to help support roof repairs to the building in accordance with Policy 101, community grants in accordance with recommendation of Committee of the Whole.
Thank you. Seconded by Councilor Enslow. Discussion. Councilor Gunn.
Thank you very much. Lawn bowling, I understand that one with the balls and one thing, but can I have a 2-second explanation of what coitus is?
Councilor Enslow.
More of a social club, the social aspect of it.
It's the social aspect.
Yeah, that's my understanding.
Okay. It's not an actual game.
It could be.
Thank you. That's good.
Okay, your job to go play.
Yeah. My daughter plays it, but I don't know the other portion.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Carried. 5.12, Community Projects, Cats for Keeps Rescue Society. Councilor Prout, please.
I move that municipal council approve a grant to the Cats for Keeps Rescue Society in the amount of $5,000 to help support fostering equipment and supplies in accordance with Policy 101, community grants pursuant to the recommendation of Committee of the Whole.
Thank you. Seconded by Councilor LeBlanc. Discussion. All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. 5.13, Audited Financial Statements. Councilor Sheridan, please.
I move that the municipal council adopt the audited financial statements for the year ended March 31st, 2023, in accordance with the recommendation of Committee of the Whole.
Thank you.
Second.
Seconded by
Second.
Councilor Bartow. Discussion. All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Carried. 5.14, Audit Strategy. Councilor Sheridan, please.
I move that municipal council accept the audit strategy as presented and confirm Grant Thornton to carry out the 2023-24 audit pursuant to the recommendation of Committee of the Whole.
Seconded by Councilor Bartow. Discussion. Councilor Hudson, please.
Yes, did we receive a copy of that?
Yes. Right in the same document as the audit.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Further discussion. All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Carried. 5.15, Heritage Advisory Committee recommendation. Councilor LeBlanc, please.
I move that municipal council consider the entire Woodland Cemetery Company property identified as PID number 05123609, being 1.47 acres, located in South Williamston for registration as a municipal heritage property, and begin the process by filing notice of recommendation at the Registry of Deeds and holding a public hearing on Tuesday, September 17, 2024 at 2 p.m. in accordance with the recommendation of Committee of the Whole.
Thank you. Seconded by Deputy Warden. Discussion. All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Carried. We'll take a 10-minute break, please. Would like a motion to amend the order of the day, please, under the Municipal Government Act 22-2C, personnel, moved by the Deputy Warden, seconded by Councilor LeBlanc. Discussion? All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? All right, thank you. We are now on page 15. To get us started, Deputy Warden, would you read the motion on page 17, please? The recommendation.
Bottom.
I move the municipal council approve a grant in the amount of...
No.
This one right here.
I move the municipal council endorse the concept of a joint countywide inclusion, diversity, equity, and accessibility structure with a proposed committee terms of reference and specific details of the work plan to be brought forward to council in the fall for final review and potential adoption.
You, seconded by Councilor Hudson. CEO, would you like a few words?
Sure. So, council, the province has passed legislation recently. I always mix up the actual wording. Dismantling Racism and Hate Act. And as part of that, they prescribe municipalities under the regulations as a public body that's required to have in place a plan. So similar to what we did with the accessibility requirements and accessibility regulations a couple of years ago, municipalities were prescribed and required to come up with a plan and an actual committee. And so in this particular case, it's very similar in the sense they prescribe municipalities, we now have to come up with a plan. So a dismantling Racism and Hate Act, so we have to come up with a plan to do that. And so I met with the CAOs and the clerk treasurer in the village of Lawrencetown a couple weeks ago to discuss whether there's the interest in doing a joint plan. Because right now, as you're all aware, accessibility is off the side of a desk of an employee's, of one of our employees now, and some of the other organizations don't have strong accessibility committees, but they have committees in place because they're required by legislation. So the discussion was, do we have put together some type of formal system where we have an accessibility and a diversity inclusion plan together as one for the county, for all four of us to work together to make it much easier. The other two towns in the village have all agreed, they've discussed it with their councils and the village commission, they've all agreed to do this as one. So we don't know what it's going to look like, we haven't developed the terms of reference, we haven't developed a work plan or like that, so the discussion at this point is, are we interested in doing it? If we are, then the staff will bring back a report this fall with all the details as to what it would look like. We want to do that and get council's endorsement prior to actually doing all that work and to ensure that council wishes to go that way as opposed to do it on our own. Because we want to do it on our own, we would need to know that right away to get started, because it's going to take us 6 to 8 months to put this plan in place, because it requires public consultation as well. There is not a requirement for a committee for this second part of it, but we still need an accessibility committee, but it just makes sense to have them all under one umbrella, because many of the issues and many of the challenges are similar in nature. So that's the recommendation, is to adopt or endorse staff going forward to work with the other three municipalities in the village to come up with a strategy and a plan in the fall to bring back to council, and at that time, council will then make a decision whether they wish to proceed or not.
Thank you. Discussion. Councillor LeBlanc, please.
Thank you. I think this is a great idea. I think we should work as a whole because we are one county. So if everybody sits at the table and we come with conclusions like that and we work together, I totally agree that it should be done together as a whole.
Thank you. Further discussion? Councillor Longmire, please.
Thank you. I would just as well like to echo what Councillor LeBlanc has said, and collectively working together, we will do far better. Systemic age inequity, racism, along with our accessibility plan, is going to be vital for our future, for a healthy future. Thank you.
Thank you. Further discussion? All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. Page 18, please. Deputy Warden, would you work your way through these?
Yeah, sure. I move that municipal council approve a grant in the amount of $7,865 to the Village of Lawrencetown for the purpose of purchasing of equipment for the Lawrencetown Community Health Center in accordance with Policy 108, Medical Recruitment Financial Assistance Program.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor LeBlanc. Discussion. All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I move that municipal council approve a grant in the amount of $10,000 to nurse practitioner Sona Thankachin in accordance with Policy 108, Medical Recruitment Financial Assistance Program.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Enslow. Discussion. All in favor?
No, I was
Councillor
just going to ask, in each of these recommendations, where these people are going to be, like the nurse practitioner, where is she going to be working out of?
You want to, yeah.
I believe it's Middleton.
And it could be, I was just curious to see where it was.
Certainly. So the Lawrencetown, of course, is for office supplies for whichever healthcare professional locates there. The other individuals, number 2 and 3 are located in Middleton, and number 4 is located in Annapolis Rock.
Thank you.
Thank you. Further discussion? All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I move that municipal council approve a grant in the amount of $10,000 to nurse practitioner Michael Keel in accordance with Policy 108, Medical Recruitment Financial Assistance Program.
Seconded by Councillor Hudson. Discussion, please. All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I move that municipal council approve a grant in the amount of $10,000 to Dr. Robert Chris Picken in accordance with Policy 108, Medical Recruitment Financial Assistance Program.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor LeBlanc. Discussion. Councillor Enslow.
Thank you. I just want to say that I know that I don't always like to spend money. However, I think that this is one of the best things that we could do. It helps attract doctors and nurse practitioners. And the fact that we're doing 3 is nice to see. Usually it's 1 here, 1 there. But the fact that we're doing 3 in a row is great hope for the county, and maybe I'll actually get a doctor. That would be good. Thanks.
Thank you. Further discussion? All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Carried unanimously. Page 19. Councillor Longmire, do you have the agenda?
Did you?
Could you read the motion on page 19, please?
I can. I move that municipal council do the first reading of its intent to adopt the Habitation Community Secondary Planning Strategy and Land Use Bylaw dated July 2024, as well as making the necessary amendments to the Annapolis County Municipal Planning Strategy, Future Land Use Map, FLUM, and zoning maps, and set a public hearing date of Tuesday, September 17th, 2024, at 2 p.m. at the Municipal Administration Building.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor LeBlanc. Discussion. Councillor Gunn.
Thank you. I won't be voting in support of this. I find this document too arbitrary, too many prohibitions for the people that live in that area, and I really don't feel that it represents the feelings of the people that live in that area. It doesn't represent the families, the generational families that's been there. It does represent a lot of folks that have moved there recently, and I feel want to create their own little community. Thank you.
Thank you. Further discussion? All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed?
Great.
Adopted. Thank you. We now move to page 20.
Clear my interest here.
Thank you.
I'm the chair of that.
Chair of the committee?
That's amount handling.
And I'm going to use the bathroom.
Okay.
Good timing.
Are you on page 20, Deputy Warden?
Yes.
You want to go with that recommended motion, please?
I move that the full council approve a grant to the Mount Hamilton District School Host Museum Society in the amount of $4,083 to assist with the reshingling of the museum roof in accordance with policy 101 community grants.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Preble. Discussion. Councillor Sheridan.
So I'm with the understanding that they've had another major setback in regards to the roof because they have to take all the chipboard off of the plywood on the roof and they have to replace it. So it's going to cost them much more. So I'd like to make an amendment, if I could, to the recommendation, or to the motion. I'd like to amend and to ask the Museum Society to submit their new quote, and then we could assist them in 75% of the cost, up to $6,000.
Second.
New quote and what?
The new quote, so we could assist them in 75% of the cost, up to $6,000.
That's not an amendment.
Okay, sorry?
Okay.
If you need to strike the motions, then you have to,
That's what we want. Okay.
Staff for them to.
Want me to amend it?
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be great.
On the amendment? Okay. So the motion is council approve a grant to Mount Handley District School Host Museum Society in the amount of up to, and we'll amend it by changing $4,083 to $6,000.
That makes more sense. Thank you so much.
Subject to it,
New quote?
well, subject to the final approved cost not exceeding, it's actually 2/3, so.
Okay,
2/3, yeah.
2/3.
Still same amount, 6,000.
Okay.
Subject to the resubmitted cost or something like that, does not exceed.
So that's your amendment, Councillor Sheridan?
Yeah, it is. He did a good job on it. Thank you.
Seconded by...
Right here.
Okay, Councillor Gunn, discussion on the amendment. Councillor Hudson.
Yes, so just so I understand, so the recommended amount is up to $6,000? Okay. What about the 1/3 contribution aspect of that policy?
That's what the amendment was, up to 6,000 based on up to 2/3, and they have to provide the other 1/3.
Oh, okay, I'm fine.
Yeah, they'll have to up their portion as well, the 1/3.
Okay, thank you.
Further discussion on the amendment. All in favor of the amendment?
Yes.
Opposed? The amendment is carried. We now move to the main motion. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
He's still in the hall.
We're now on page
Left for the day.
23. Deputy Warden.
I move that municipal council agree to re-enter the Valley Regional Solid Waste Resource Management Authority as a full member and equity partner effective April 1st, 2025.
Thank you, seconded by Councillor Hudson. Discussion, please. Further discussion. Councillor LeBlanc.
I don't know really how to present this, except for the fact is, we still have 1 year, or the IMSA is still working on this process to bring it to us. So I don't know if we should look at this differently and say that we will be a partner for a year until we get a report for the IMSA, if we can do that at all. But I think we should have some kind of information from the IMSA before we fully commit from this point on, because that was the whole thing from joining the IMSA. So I'm going to leave that there for now so I can get some explanation of maybe I'm wrong or maybe this is the way we should go. Thank you.
CAO, please.
Okay, so the issue here is the Valley Waste has put out a tender for solid waste contract for the next 5 years to 7 years. And so they would not allow us to go in, I don't expect, for just 1 year, because we're going to have to they're going to have to hook in or lock themselves in for 5 or 7 years with a new contract, and wouldn't want to do that, or probably can't do that if somebody's going to leave or not participate. The issue with the IMSA is essentially the governance board. Valley Waste is always going to be there. The IMSA board isn't going to change Valley Waste. Valley Waste is still going to collect the same waste, process it, and do everything the same way. So the IMSA really doesn't affect this contract, other than the fact that IMSA is the board and whether there's going to be some staff or some governance oversight. In the past, as you remember, there was 2 boards. There was a King's Transit Board and a Valley Waste Board. The IMSA just makes 1 board. So that's the only big difference of having the IMSA. If there's no IMSA, if it disappeared tomorrow, we just go back to 2 boards, and Valley Waste would still collect up the same garbage at the roadside. All the same processes would continue. So this really doesn't affect the IMSA.
Thank you. Councillor Connell, please.
Myself, I feel that we're being rushed into a partnership that we haven't had all of our answers. I do realize what they're asking because they're going to put out for a 5-year contract. We don't even know what the contract looks like. We don't know what our commitment is other than a percentage. I do realize that citizens would like for us to be a partner because our citizens outside of the municipalities that belong to Valley Waste right now, anybody outside has to pay additional fees when they take loads of garbage to the site. I honestly don't know how I'm going to vote because I feel like I just feel that we haven't got all the answers and what their direction is and stuff like that. So I'm just up in the air right now. I wish they wouldn't rush us into things. And I realize that they got to go put it out for a contract, but they obviously have known that for quite some time. It's just something that didn't pop up yesterday. And again, we're being forced, I feel, into a decision. So I don't know how I'm going to vote.
Thank you. Councillor Ansel, please.
Thank you. There's a lot about this that I really like. You know, especially the amount of money that we're going to save for the taxpayers, which is great. And if we stayed out, the fact of having to pay the 20% premium above what we would usually pay, or what we would pay if we were a member, just seems like a waste for the taxpayers' money, as well as people are still going to, if we stay out, we still have to pay if we go to the sorting center ourselves. But if we're in the agreement, then we don't have to pay. So I'm thinking about people that, even have leaves, and I don't think they have to pay for leaves, but other stuff that goes to the sorting station. The only thing in the back of my mind that jumps out is the fact that this would be effective the 1st of April 2025, and there'll be a new council in October, and I just wonder if it's a good time now to do it before a new council starts, because we don't know how that's going to end up. But at the same time, I don't want to see the cost savings and the benefits of being an equal partner plays. So I don't quite know exactly how I'm going to vote yet, but the cost to the taxpayers, as well as the long-term cost forecasting that we can plan for me outweighs in some ways. Thanks.
I might remind council of what I said a meeting or two ago, is that we are the council of the municipality of the county of Annapolis, and we have a duty to live up to our responsibilities and make decisions one way or the other until we are no longer the council of the municipality of the county of Annapolis. Thank you. Councilor Sharon.
So I've given this a lot of thought, and knowing now more about the IMSA and how it's run, and that they will be overseeing Valley Waste. We've always worked with Valley Waste in one regard or the other. There was an issue in the past. Things have changed. The board has gone. This new board is running the service. I do feel that having a voice at the board would be an asset. And plus, as Councillor Enslow has mentioned, the 20% premium that they were going to add on if we're not a member. And I believe Councillor Connell mentioned something about we have to pay as we go down in Lawrencetown. So I'm going to vote for this. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Thank you. Councillor Prout, please.
We've had good discussions in the past on this issue, and I think we've continued them this morning. I agree with Councillor Sheridan. I'll be voting in favor of this. I think it's time to move on and set the stage for the next contract. I'll be voting in favor.
Thank you. Further discussion?
Right here.
Councillor Gunn, please.
Thank you. When I look at this, and I've listened quite a lot, and you really got to scratch your head and say, what are we getting involved in, with this much? Their decisions seem to me arbitrary. Every time you turn around, we're going to charge you 20% more, but if you get in, you're not. It's really, I find, it's so convoluted. I feel that we're being rushed into this, although I understand why they want us in. That's obvious, so they can get a contract. But I do feel that we're being rushed into this, and they're trying to lock us in, right? Once we get locked into a 5-year contract with them, we'll be run by the IMSA whether we want to be in or out. And once we get into the IMSA, try to get out of Valley Waste or King's Transit. This is locking us in. And if somebody could actually just explain it, really, what are we going to be paying for if we're in, if we're out? 20% more, I guess, if we're not in. But, where do these numbers come from? I think we're being rushed into it, folks. And I'm not comfortable with making a decision yet because we're being rushed into it. I feel we're being rushed into it, and that I don't even know what we're getting into. I've read the text that we've been given, but I really can't put my finger right on what we're getting involved into, because I really haven't had a good explanation of it all.
Thank you. CAO, please.
In a nutshell, you're getting exactly what you're getting today for service, but at a substantial less cost for our residents. If you do not approve it, just means our residents will pay substantially more for the exact same level of service. Nothing's going to change, and you won't have a voice at the table, which is what you don't have now. Whenever discussions are being held, we're asked to leave the room.
So can I have a follow-up to that answer, which I just received? So we will have the same vote if we go in with them now. We're going to have the same vote we always had. Will we still have the power of veto? We always had power of veto before, and when it came to financial decisions. Now I see Kings County has the power of veto yet, but, Annapolis won't be getting theirs back. And what about, as Councillor Connell has brought up different times, do we get our equity back in our shares that we had in a lot of gear and such?
So, if I may, so once you become a partner, you're a full partner, and you're a part owner of everything that's there. Because we've been paying and even the last couple of years, we haven't been an equity partner, we've been paying towards the capital costs.
That's right.
So we've been contributing, but have no ownership. So if we become a partner, you'll now still pay the same amount, but you'll have ownership.
We'll have our ownership
You'll have
back.
your percentage ownership of whatever it is they have for assets, for the whole assets of all, yes. You'll get
For
that
all
back.
the assets.
You'll get that back, yes. Your other question was?
Veto.
Veto power. There's no
Veto.
veto power now, other than I think Kings may have it, because they're more than 50%. They take up more than everybody, so Annapolis doesn't have any veto power. There is discussion under the new model, the IMSA, if they continue, of getting rid of that, so that there's no veto for one person anymore. But that's the proposal. They'll have to come back to all the councils for a decision. But I don't expect there'll be a veto power for one council in the future going forward, but Deputy Warden may have more information than I don't.
And this will tie us up for the next 5 years after that.
Well, it'll tie you in forever until you decide you want to get out again, and then you'll have to give your 1 or 2 years notice, whatever the contract is.
Okay, thank you.
Deputy Warden.
So, 4 years ago, we came here and we faced $1 million lawsuit, and we spent several $1 million on a transfer facility that we couldn't use, and we've spent 4 years rebuilding this relationship. We've been discussing our waste collection contract for a year now, in various pieces as we've moved back towards being close to Valley Waste. I think we've been constantly saying that we do want to be a part. Every decision we've come to has been moving closer together. There's a couple discussions about how voting will end up being at the IMSA in the future. There's no veto. There's no veto right now, with the exception of, it's not a veto exactly. King's Transit can technically vote down a budget, but if they vote down a budget, they're responsible for offering a substitute budget on everything. So that's puts a lot of burden on their functional veto, I guess. But no, there's been no discussion about vetoes in the future. It's not part of it. I won't get into the proposed voting models, but they're much better than just straight voting as we've had in the past.
Thank you. Councillor Bartlett, please.
I'm not a fan of being forced into quick decisions, but having said that, we're decision makers. We have to decide on the information that we have in front of us at this time. I think that on the surface, it looks like there's benefits to be had. We get back into our 21% ownership or equity. It doesn't, unless there's something hidden that I haven't seen, I don't see a negative at this point. So I will be voting for it. We don't want to go down a road that every 6 months or a year we have to make new decisions and just inch along. We have to bite the bullet and do something for some longevity, to give it a chance to see how it works out, because we're not going to see the results in less than a year. So I think for that reason, if nothing else, I will be supporting it.
Thank you. Councillor Hudson.
Yes, just a quick comment. I guess I will support this motion. I think given the opportunity to re-enter agreement with Valley Waste, we have an opportunity, I think we should take it. I think it's already been said this morning that there are reasons for that. Number one, we become an equity partner, and as well, it's going to save our taxpayers some money, okay? And I guess additionally, I think then, when we become a full member, we will have some input through the IMSA board into the operations of both Valley Waste and King's Transit. Thank you.
All in favor?
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Motion carried. Thank you. Now we have Planning Advisory Committee recommendation, Upper Clements, a separate piece of paper on your desk. Deputy Warden, please.
I move that municipal council give first reading of their intention to adopt the Upper Clemens Area Secondary Planning Strategy and Land Use Bylaw dated July 2024, as well as make the necessary amendments to the Annapolis County Municipal Planning Strategy and future land use map and zone maps, and set a public hearing date of Tuesday, September 17th, 2024 at 2 p.m. at the Municipal Administration Building.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Gunn. Discussion. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Councillor comments, beginning with District 1.
Oh, Councilor's comments, I thought you said Councilor Connell. Sorry.
He's next.
Yeah, he's next. That's right. Good morning from District 1. Since our last regular council meeting, I've attended a number of meetings along with my fellow councilors. I've also taken part in the Annapolis Valley Regional Library Board Annual General Meeting and regular board meeting on June 20th, the monthly meeting of the Wilmot Area Neighborhood Watch on July 8th, and the Trans-County Transportation Board on July 10th. In addition, I've spoken with a number of residents on a variety of issues. I'm pleased to report that the Canada Day celebrations and bake sale, which were mentioned as upcoming events in last month's comments, were very well attended and successful. I'd like to thank Warden Morrison for attending the Canada Day celebrations. It was wonderful to have him join us. And I'd like to thank all those people who have worked so diligently on the recovery efforts, cleaning up the damages caused by our most recent rainstorms. Looking forward to the days ahead. I'd like to wish everyone a great summer, and I would encourage everyone to consider supporting the many upcoming summer events and activities from the Valley X in August in Lawrencetown, to a number of local events which will be a huge part of many of our towns and villages in our valley over the coming weeks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Greetings from District 2. I guess our official summer break is coming up, so if anyone has any concerns, reach out to us while we're off, I suppose, and we'll try to get everything we can do. I want to thank the warden and the dean for coming out to the communities and giving out checks and taking pictures. I know the community members spoke to me and enjoyed that. It shows that we're out in the communities. It gets people to realize that we are a part of their community, and I guess that's what we've been kind of on the low and failing over the years, is getting good communication. So it really shows when we get out in the communities and involve ourselves in these events. So it was much appreciated. The heat's been over excessive in the last few last week anyway, and I guess it's going to continue for a few more days. So I just want to make sure that our residents are aware of that and make sure the animals are taken care of appropriately, and hopefully everyone will have a good summer.
Thank you. District 3, please.
Thank you. So greetings from District 3. So just a couple things I want to touch on. So for people that may not be aware, the sewer connection work for Mountain Lee Lodge has begun. The road is starting to get tore up, and the wait times on Church Street is long. So please, take caution when driving on Church Street. I would recommend taking an alternate route to go up Hampton Mountain Road. But it's nice to see progress being made, that they have the water connection already done, and now they're working on the sewer. So hopefully Mountain Lee Lodge will be open on time, which would be phenomenal. I attended this past weekend the Riverfest activities. It was unfortunate that the dragon boats itself couldn't go. However, I believe it was a good safety call on their part. I know when I was there first thing in the morning, the river was a bit much. So it was a good call. I wouldn't want to see anyone get hurt or, God forbid, something else happen. But it was nice to see and talk to people throughout Bridgetown, the county, and the province. There was people there from the province-wide, there was people there from across Canada, and even international. So it was nice to talk to, a good group of people, and I was able to ask really targeted questions and get a lot of information. There was a lot of vendors offering skills. A lot of the skills were skills that are disappearing throughout the generations. There was bookbinding and different knitting techniques and woodworking, as well as there was also skills around knowledge of the river and knowledge of environmental concerns. So it was a really complex type situation. And even though there was no dragon boats, I would say that there was a great number of people there. And everyone looks forward to it year after year. As well, July 1st was a very busy day for me. I was split between Bridgetown and Port Lorne. I went back and forth all day, which was good. I got to see a lot of people, and it was nice to see the local residents used Jubilee Park. It seems it's being used constantly now. As well as up in Port Lorne, the amount of people that participated in the parade was phenomenal. As well as, I just want to put a shout out to the Annapolis County Outdoor Sports Society, so the group that's operating the sports hub on our behalf. They're really starting to move forward with a lot of things. They've put a lot of money into equipment and assets within the tennis club, or whatever they're calling it, as well as putting up cameras to deter theft and vandalism. But they're now starting sports and fitness clinics. So there's a yoga clinic coming, as well as a running, and they have I don't know if it's an Olympiad or Canada Games specialist coming for, I forget what activity, I think it's running. But it's just nice to see the amount of people that are really supporting this group and using this sports hub. And it's a real community effort, and it's just not the Bridgetown residents. There's people throughout the county, so for them to pick the Annapolis County Outdoor Sports Society, it was very important. And the last thing I want to touch on is, as the weather has been good and hot, I've had a lot of opportunity to experience our recreational activities throughout the county. So I've utilized the trails that we have, as well as we've been using the ATV trail network. We even went down to Middleton for lunch one day. Thank you, Councillor Connell, for having your restaurant right off the trail. as well as we spent a lot of time in the past couple months on the river, and it's just nice to see the amount of boat traffic and use of that river. It is a clear asset to our community and a huge tourism attraction as well. So I know when I go boating every weekend and we launch or recover or come alongside in Annapolis Royal, the amount of people not from our county that are on the river and then going to eat at the burger bus or whatever it's called, Cool Bus, is astronomical. So it's a real asset, so I want to pass that along. Thank you.
Thank you.
Greetings from District 4. I'd like to give my congratulations to all the grads entering their next phase of life, be it a vocation or more training institutions, universities, etc. Explore your options and make the right decisions for yourselves as you look forward to your futures unfolding. I think this is an important time of life, and your decisions carry forward into how the rest of your life will be affected. Mother Nature has thrown a few curves at us lately with extreme weather conditions. We have to adjust to the change. We'll have to make sure that these events are approached with safety first as a motto. There's signs are that we're going to be hit with more of these more often. The 1 in 100-year storm scenarios has kind of got blown out of the water lately, so I think we have to adjust our sights a little bit. But you have to be patient with everything that's transpiring, replacement of infrastructure to facilitate the storm waters and everything can't all be done all at once. Is this going to continue on a more frequent basis? If so, we have to look deep at that. It's going to cost a lot of money moving forward. Citizen concerns are paramount, and I've been following up on various issues of late and will continue doing all I can as we move forward. And just like to put a little note in there that if you have any aspirations that you feel that council may be something you'd want to spend a little time at, where I'm stepping down, I'd like to have some good people come to and be on so they can have their box checked on the polls. So we'll leave it at that for now. Thank you.
Is Councillor Longmire still on then? No. Okay. In District 6, I want to thank the province for the number of traffic cones that are along Highway 1 and the number of trucks and people who are fixing the results of the storm. I also want to commend Karen and Brad, the owners of Frank and Dora's Take Out, Eat In restaurant, for their very, very quick recovery. It's now open. It was open yesterday. In Cornwallis Park on Wednesday, there's going to be a paint-in on the beach, and this is the first one of that nature. It'll be interesting to see the folks who come and paint the surroundings there, which have been described by some of my council colleagues as some of the best in the county. Thank you.
Yes, greetings from District 7. I just would like to make a couple of comments, regarding the recent weather. Firstly, the extreme heat and humidity that we've been having during the past week, or maybe even earlier than that. I just ask people to be, very careful of the growth. make sure you're hydrated, stay cool, protect yourself. Regarding the torrential rain that we had last week, I hope that really there wasn't, no one incurred a lot of damage to the properties. I know there was some. I know that there were some culverts and whatnot that were washed out. Closer to home, I just want to mention my street in Rector Street in Bridgetown. About 8:30 that evening of the rain, I went down outside and walked down the street. I want to get about halfway down the street, and from there down to Centennial Drive, there was 2 or 3 inches of rain on the street, covered. There were some residents along there that had flooded basements and had people come in and help them out. I know the fire department, Bridgetown, was assisting people, with pumping out their basements. So other than that, I really have no further comments. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
District 8 report. My first thoughts are for the people and the businesses who suffered severe property damage during the downpour last week, and hope that everyone has had the opportunity to check in on their neighbors and ensure everyone is all right. Between the rain and the severe heat, I'm hoping households are able to keep themselves and their animals cool and safe. There's much to report from this past month, and I'll begin with the Federation of Canadian Municipalities Conference in Calgary. I learned a lot about the common concerns, needs, and problems faced by municipalities large and small across the country, and had many eye-opening conversations with representatives near and far. I really appreciate the opportunity to attend this event. I also attended a workshop on electromagnetic frequencies and learned that the WHO considers cell phones to be a Class 2 carcinogen. It was a very interesting session and provided lots of food for thought. If you haven't given it any thought, I suggest you look into it. I had many conversations with constituents covering concerns including overreaching and unnecessary restrictions in some of the municipal planning, property assessment and taxation, coastal erosion, and land and road damage following the flooding. I was honored to represent the county at the Clementsville Canada Day activities and the evening events at the Legion in Bear River. Both were well planned and attended, and a good time was had by all. My thanks go to the organizers and the chefs and all those working behind the scenes to maintain the Foresters Hall, the Legion, and who keep our community gathering places up and running. Upcoming events in Bear River include a car show on Saturday the 21st and the 131st Cherry Carnival on the 27th. The breakfast at the Fire Hall on August 3rd, the Legion Fishing Tournament for striped bass on August 3rd, and of course, the night markets on July 17th, 31st, and August 14th and 28th. Please join in on these and other community events and enjoy what summer has to offer in our beautiful part of the world. And I'd like to add, enjoy a laugh and a meal with your neighbors and your friends, and pass on thanks to the tireless volunteers who make these public events happen. Once again, they are the reason our communities are thriving and deserve recognition for their excellent work. As always, it has been my pleasure to serve the people of District 8 and the municipality as a whole. I'll use a gardening analogy, if I may, to point out that this is the time of year we've worked the soil and have planted the seeds and are making sure that there's water. And that sometimes takes quite a bit of work to make sure that there's water. And then we watch to see what comes up and what thrives and what needs more tending. Just as I hope the gardening we've planted here as a council blooms, I hope that each of our constituents are experiencing growth, security, and joy from their efforts, and in their gardens. I wish you all an excellent summer season, and please continue to reach out when you have questions or concerns. Thank you.
Thank you. District 9, please.
Thank you. I also want to give a shout out to the Department of Transportation for all their hard work with all the repairs, and we did have a major issue in Nicktaw on the middle road. We lost a culvert, so we only have one way in and out now. We used to have two. It's only open to local residents. I know now how people feel living in a gated community, because that's how I feel, because I'm on the middle road. Yeah, so hopefully the culvert will get fixed soon. It takes an extra bit of time going and coming from different places. The other thing I have to mention is the Middleton and District Lions are going to have their car show August the 10th at the Middleton Museum. And enjoy your summer, and see you in September.
Thank you. District 10, please.
Yes, the Annapolis Valley Exhibition is August 12th to 17th. Be there or be square, whichever other volley you prefer. That's it.
Thank you. District 11.
I guess that's my turn from District 11. I'd like to say thank you to Nadine and our warden for coming up to my district and presenting a check to the Three Rivers Community Center, and they were very, very happy because they will be able to start the process of putting their new dishwasher. So that works great. The second thing I have is to talk about the rain and the floods and the warnings and everything that we have and the heat. It's an education process. And I find every year we seem to have to be educated a little bit more. So, and the process that I've seen of the young man that accidentally lost his life in Wolfville, I think that it shows that there is an importance to go to schools and show what can happen and why this is there's always something that can happen, and that's okay. It's always something that can happen, and we should be prepared. And we, even as adults, we think, when we were young, we did this, and this. Well, yeah, we did. Yeah, we survived. Yes, we can talk about it. We can tell the tale. However, some of these things that are going on now, we need to be more educated and step in line to be ahead of it so that nothing drastic like that can happen. So that's my education part for the day. The third thing I'd like to talk about is I was educated in the last month about a group. I knew about the group that is in our county, but I didn't really know too much of anything about the group except they have motorcycles. That's about it. And they work as a group. Okay. But I was educated on the 74th Crusaders. I think that a lot of these people sitting at the table, they know about this group. But I didn't know that they were a non-for-profit organization, and they have several fundraising activities throughout the years to help all sorts of people. And the club has approximately 100 working retired members, spouses, families, friends from all walks of life. So this year, this club has been successful for 50 years, so they have, they're going to have a celebration of their 50th, and they are going to be celebrating during Natal Day weekend, the 2nd to the 4th of August, of course, 2024. What I was looking at that was interesting to me was all the charities and organizations and that they have helped and are continuing to help during their 50 years of being in as a group. There's Big Brothers and Sisters, Christmas Daddies, Annapolis Royal Food Bank, Royal Canadian Legion Branch 21, Children's Trust Fund, McDonald House, Muscular Dystrophy, Schools Plus, IWK, Soldiers Memorial, food banks, Salvation Army, the Special Olympics, Annapolis County Special Olympics, the Annapolis Royal Fire Department, Bikers Down Society, Rides for Individuals, Ride for Sight, Bikers Cancer Memorial Fund, TLC Animal Shelter, Mid-Valley Palliative Care Services, Annapolis Health Center at McNaughton School Bike Club, Heart and Stroke Foundation Biker Support Group. I was very impressed with the fact that with the group, being able to put their efforts in helping all these different organizations throughout their years as the 74th Crusaders, which is as he said, as it said here, is a motorcycle enthusiast club. So I commend them on their 50 years, and hopefully there'll be another 50 plus to go and to help out in our community, to help individuals or groups that are needed, or they need their help. And last but not least, that's my education part. I'd like to wish everybody a great summer and a safe summer, and we'll see you back in September. Almost like a song.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we have our motion tracking list on pages 26 to 34.
If I may comment on that briefly, the top item on page 30 of 34, the review of the duplicate road names, the two Pleasant Streets, one in Wilmot and Melbourne Square. I see it's down as complete. I would respectfully suggest that maybe it would be more apt to say it's in progress, currently in progress.
That portion for that motion,
Oh, that,
it will
okay.
come back and we'll show
Oh.
where it is when the next part is.
Thank you for the clarification. I just didn't want anyone to call me and say, what? It's done. Thank you.
The motion to commence it.
Yes.
Councillor Connell.
On the bottom of 31 and the top of 32, motions were passed and completed on compost cart replacement, roughly $47,000. If we go back as a full member of Valley Waste, do we still have to purchase our own carts and replace them, or would that be a part of the process with Valley Waste?
That I can't answer, I'm not sure how that works, so, not sure if Deputy Warden knows or not.
We've not talked about it directly, but I can't imagine it would just be a cycled replacement as people's carts ran broke. They'd be replaced as they are now. But I would think that Valley Waste would be paying that bill, that we wouldn't be paying it anymore. We're not. They wouldn't all be replaced at once, but as they break down, they'll be replaced with new, better ones, like the old style, where the Valley Waste is used, purchase. We purchase now through Valley Waste.
And I guess that probably in the contract, we'll see how maybe we'll allow that.
It would be if we're in as a partner, it'd be the same as how every other municipality is treated, I would assume.
Okay.
But right now, we buy them and give them to them.
Yes, and like I say, it's, in this past year, we just put motions through to spend $47,000, so there's quite a chunk of change.
Well, we did actually put motions to spend $47,000. We've already spent that. One's in 22, 23. The second one's 23, 24, so it's the last 2 years. Those were just motions how we're going to pay for them, because originally they were designated to pay for gas tax, but they're not eligible under gas tax.
Right.
So we had to change it to take it out of the operating reserves.
Okay.
This year, I think it's only like 7,000 we budgeted or something like that, so.
28, the motion was to pay out of the operating reserve, 28,000.
28 from last year though, not this year.
23, 24.
That's last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the budget this year was like 7,000, but I'd have to check the list too.
So that's a savings, hopefully, that we'll see in that, in part of the joint. No, thank you.
Councillor Sheridan.
So on page 26, the top, the East End servicing study is to be completed March 31st, 24. I'm assuming that has been complete. I No, it's not completed.
Only when someone tells me it is.
Yeah.
And when someone tells me it is, I'll move it.
Okay.
It's been delayed several times. They were waiting on Kings County, and then waiting on the result in CDCL, because they're doing a whole bunch of different studies, so it's obviously not to be completed by March 31st. That was the plan, but it didn't work, so.
Okay.
Hopefully by the end of the summer, so the next month, hopefully we'll have that ready to go to the committee. I know they're getting a committee meeting together here sometime
Area advisory?
Yeah.
In the fall, yes.
in the early fall.
Regrouping in the fall.
Okay.
So
We'll have to have that study ready for that, so.
All right, thank you.
Great to have that. Councilor Bartow, please.
Can I just jump back out of order here for a second? Just to make a point and say, it's kind of insignificant, but on the Valley Waste on page 24, their totals don't add up to 100%, so maybe we can ask for that other 0.1% to be added to ours.
Thank you.
I just rounded them.
It's a rounding error.
Oh, it's rounded.
Not a rounding error, it's just rounded, yes. If I gave you the exact numbers, I'd go to 2 or 3 digits. I didn't go to 2 or 3 digits.
Yeah. I'm just making fun.
Further comments?
Oh, right here.
Councilor Brennan.
Thank you very much. On page 28, the second item down, tax sale surplus for the minister. Have we heard back from the minister yet on that? Our tax sale surplus, what's going to happen?
Oh, we did hear back originally, and the minister said they would consider it, what they were going to do, because they said, we had suggested changes to FRAN, the Financial Reporting Accounting Manual,
Right.
and the minister's letter came back and said they had to change that, plus they also changed some legislation as well.
All right,
So it's with the problem.
it's with the province.
Yeah.
And one more thing, sir, if I can.
Please.
One moment, please. Page 30. The third and fourth item down, the COVID response, the repeal there. About the people that lost their jobs. And I know this can bring up but we had people in the county that lost their jobs. Would they have a chance now to come back and redeem their jobs?
Excuse me, what we're dealing with,
Just a repeal there, I realize.
yes. Thank you. Councilor Bartow.
Just one question, and maybe it's just housekeeping. We're still passing motions for repeals, and any of the new policies come through. Part of that policy includes this repeals the old policy. So are we double dipping on that, or is that just some that got missed that didn't get added into that accepting this policy actually repeals the old policy?
Sorry, you're talking about what?
I think I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
So whenever we catch it, we repeal the old policy with the new policy. But in some instances, like the COVID one, there's no policy
We've missed it.
replacing it, so it just becomes a straight repeal, which
Okay.
is a separate one. But normally, we would repeal it in the new policy, yes.
Thank you.
Further comments? I think this is the first time we've had such a workout on this tracking document, which shows its usefulness. I would like, please, a motion to go in camera under Municipal Government Act 22-2C personnel, Deputy Warden. And Councillor Sheridan, in discussion, all in favor?
Yes.